We are joined today by an Ontario native, a 2007 Canada Winter Games gold medalist, the 20th overall pick of the New York Rangers in the 2008 entry draft, a member of the NHL All-Rookie team, how are you? Also played for the Nashville Predators, the Philadelphia Flyers, the Vancouver Canucks, the Anaheim Ducks, the St. Louis Blues, the Columbus Blue Jackets, and the Ottawa Senators, and of course, 2019 Stanley Cup champion Michael Del Zotto. Welcome to the Empty Netters podcast.
Thanks for having me. I thought you were going to run out of air there, naming all the teams. Holy cow!
Hey, we had to give a big lung capacity for Tomer too when he came on. So we'll have to compare the hockey DBs there, boys. Eh?
Good practice.
It's a long list.
Yeah,
I do got to say, here in that 2019 Stanley Cup champion fucking sucks the life out of me, man. That year will always haunt me as a Bruins fan. That was brutal. DZ, I gotta say, dude, we've got a lot of friends in our mutual circle who were kind of giving us tips that you were apparently asking a lot of questions about what we were going to hit you with on this episode.
Well, because I had people reaching out to me, being like, "Oh, I heard you're doing the pod. I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, what should I expect? I want to be a little bit prepared, but I also like being surprised as well, because it's nice getting asked a question that you've never been asked before, and you kind of have to, like, I don't know, it's nice to be surprised instead of just going with the usual, dump and chase, good line changes, net front traffic, like all that bullshit. It's nice to have a real conversation. So I'm excited.
Hell yeah. This is great. This is going to be fantastic.
DZ Laz, Johnny Laz, who's our boy, and I know you love him too. Laz was like, I go, what's one thing I should ask him? And he goes, dude, ask him about his stretch pass. No one has a better stretch pass in NHL history than DC.
Laz is my guy. I mean, my stretch pass was pretty good. I do have to give myself credit. My first year in the league, I don't know if it was just like wasn't a thing at that time. And then as teams started to catch on, then it was a little different, and kind of had to adapt a little bit. But it was, I don't know. I mean, my first year, I just kind of caught guys off guard with that stretch pass, and teams a little bit lazy during the second period change and whatnot, and it worked out well for us. Torts was a fan too. So
yeah, it's nice. Incredible.
Dude, hey, if you're making
Torts happy,
right? If you're making Torts happy, you're doing something right. That's for damn sure.
When the other five guys are just chipping off the glass, and there's one that can make the stretch pass, and you stand out. So it was nice.
Yeah, it's incredible. DZ, before we get into a ton of stuff about you, since we got all the boys here, and we were just talking about it before we started recording, but we're recording Monday morning, July 1st, chaos in the free agency world. So what's the biggest surprise? What's the biggest shock for you guys so far?
I think the Stamkos one, I'm looking at it on the TV right now. The Stamkos one is insane to me. A guy that's played there, whatever it is, 16 years, 15 years, been your captain, won cups, done everything you've asked of him, and dealt with, major injuries. How you don't step up and pay him is outrageous. And still, he's putting up points. And it may not be, I don't know if the rumors are true with whatever the 8-year deal at $3 million. I mean, do you really want to play into your 40s? Probably not. I'm not sure his health would even allow him to. Pay the man up front. Give him a shorter term deal and pay the man the money he deserves. I'm extremely shocked by that. I can't imagine his teammates are overly happy. So as this goes on, I'm very interested to see some of the comments guys will be making and how they feel about it.
And
dude, this whole ordeal.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, this whole ordeal has been insane. Like, I remember earlier this season when he wanted that extension and didn't get it. And he was very openly, vocally annoyed about it. And it just felt like Breezeball was like, whatever, I don't give a shit. And they played the whole season. He's a professional as always. Tomer, you said he's one of the greatest captains of all time. And he just puts his head down and balls out as usual, has a point per game season. And then we head into the offseason, and then also nothing on the extension front. And then, that 8-year by 3, it's like, it almost felt like that was an offer that they knew he was going to say no to, just so they could save face and be like, yeah, we made him an offer. And it just, you're so right, man. It feels so shockingly disrespectful to this guy who's your franchise leader in games, points, and goals. He's brought 2 cups to the city. It's like, holy shit, man. What the hell's going on here?
Look, I was taught to pause before agitated, and I'm so agitated. I mean, I am biased like you are, DZ, because I know you grew up with Stammer. I played with him. But this is a joke. Like, straight up, this is a joke. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like, this happened with Vincent Lecavalier, now Martin St. Louis, now Steven Stamkos. You had all year, all last summer, and I look at it too as if, like, it's not just disrespectful to Stammer. You're, like, disrespecting the fans. You're disrespecting his teammates. Like, you don't think Nikita Kucherov wants Steven Stamkos on his team, or Braden Point, or all these guys? Like, this guy, like, he played through everything, won 2 cups. Like, he's a for sure Hall of Famer now. And I just don't understand the thought process behind it. I understand you get Jake Getzel, you retool your team, but like DZ said, he had over 40 goals this year. He's still scoring 40 goals and 80, 90 points every year. And you offer him a deal that's 8 years. And like I said, it's all hearsay. We don't know. But I think if you want to sign Steven Stamkos, you'll sign Steven Stamkos. Mm-hmm. Right? At the end of the day, like, this to me is an absolute joke. It's a joke. This should never happen. This was completely botched by Tampa. They ruined this. They ruined it. Like, to me, this just brings down credibility to Tampa Bay Lightning, because you lose a guy like Steven Stamkos. That was your captain and has been the captain, been an unbelievable captain, does stuff off the ice. He is already a Hall of Famer. I could go on all day about this, but you guys,
I can tell. I love it.
I'm just so annoyed by this. I can't believe the ownership, Julian Breezewall, everyone botched this. You botched it. I'll tell you. You botched it.
I have a question. I have a question for you then. So he signed a 4-year deal at $8 million. If Tampa offered him 4 years at 6.5, do you think he takes that? I think yes, and that's a complete guess. I haven't had a conversation with him, so it's not like they weren't even close. Like, to your point, right? If they wanted to sign him or had interest, they would have made a much better offer. And then he goes to Nashville and he gets a fucking outstanding offer.
Yeah, and look at it like this too. Like, Stammer knew this whole time, and there was media about it, and Stammer came out. And Stammer's an honest guy. And Julian Breezeball comes back and says, well, we're going to talk to him. And he was just saving face. The whole time Stammer was right. They didn't want to sign him. We all look back to when Stammer came out and said, no one's offered me anything. No one's even talked to me. I'm shocked by it. Well, he was right. Look what happened. At the end of the day, they knew what they were going to do. To me, this was their plan. They were just trying to save face a little bit and just offer him something. And at the end of the day, look what happened. He's gone.
Dude, count me among the people who got tricked. Like, even though the deal wasn't getting done before the season, I was like, it's fine. Like, there's literally no way they let Steven Stamkos leave.
And I understand it's a business. I think we all understand that there's a business side of it, but at the same time, you look at Stammer and what he's done there. And I remember back when Mark Bergevin talked about, if you guys remember Alexander Radulov, and he said, if you want loyalty, buy a dog.
yeah.
And
fucking savage. Absolute savage.
And he's right. But at the same time, Alexander Radulov and Steven Stamkos is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 100%.
I thought the same thing was going to happen last time when you're like, hey, everyone thought he was going to the Leafs. I'm like, yeah, they're like, hey, make him sweat out a little bit once you get to free agency, or right before, like, hey, we make our best offer and, all good. We had this was our plan all along. This was not the case this time. And that's what I was expecting. Same to you guys. This is shocking.
Yeah, it is shocking. I mean, I agree with you, DC. I'm biased, but this is definitely the most shocking thing to happen on free agency day. And there's some other good signings, but that one sticks out to me the most, that they just completely screwed up.
DZ, to your point, I legit think he would have signed like 4 by 5.5. It's wild. It's wild. All right. We're in the midst of all this craziness, the free agency stuff, the draft stuff. We just came from the draft. DZ, I wanted to get into talking about the draft with you. We were just there, had a blast, so cool at the Sphere. And I think my favorite thing about the draft is in the NHL, I feel like we still have this cool element where the players really don't know.
Yeah.
Like we saw the Beckett Seneca pick at 3 absolutely blow his mind. Like the camera's cut to him and he's just saying what the fuck to his parents, which is just like an all-time moment.
Yeah.
And I feel like in other sports, right, like the NFL and stuff, like guys are getting called, they know. And with you, you get drafted, it was in Ottawa. And from what I know is, you were thinking you were going to go somewhere in the teens probably, and New York was actually ending up really only being the only team that talked to you. And they then scoop you at 20. So like, what was that experience like for you? And do you remember every little bit about it? Do you remember what you wore? Do you remember what your like thought process was when you're going through those 10 picks and like New York's coming up? Were you melting down? What was going on?
Yeah. So I thought it was going to go somewhere between like 12 to 18. I met with Chicago numerous times and Boston numerous times, and both of them said to me, you won't be there when we're picking. So when I got to them and I was available, I'm like, hey, I just assumed I was going there. And to Tomer's point, the Bergevin comment, like you learn at a young age at 18, you're like, fuck, you can't trust anyone in this business. And then I kept sliding, and then I'm starting to get the pitters, I'm sweating a little bit more. I go, oh fuck, like am I be sitting here till tomorrow?
Yeah.
And then I get to 20 at the Rangers, and I only had one short meeting with them at the combine. It wasn't anything to write home about, nothing unique. It was just a casual meeting. We talked about my stats, where my strengths were, what I thought I could do better at, and next thing you know, I get drafted there, and it was incredible. And it's one of those things, you see it now with like Capo Caco there, right? Like when you're going to original 16 for the most part, but a team like the New York Rangers, like you're expected to win every single year, so it's a hard place to go and develop because you're on such a short leash, and you're bringing in very reputable free agents every single year. So a guy like Kako, he's not getting top 6 minutes, the second overall pick. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? Well, if you're not put in a position to succeed to the best of your ability, to your strengths, it's just not going to happen. There's only so many top 6 positions. And I think that's what impressed me so much about certain guys that come to the league, guys that are 40, 50 goal scorers in junior. And then you get to the NHL and you realize, okay, I'm not going to get that opportunity. How can I change my game to be an everyday player? And those are always the guys that I had the most respect for, and I seem to get along with the most. Is like, because there weren't, oh fuck, I'm not given a chance, poor me. Like, okay, here's my opportunity. It's not going to be to score goals. I'm going to have to figure out ways to check and contribute in other aspects of the game and be relevant for the next 5 to 10 years.
Easy, I have to ask.
It's so true.
I have to ask you too, just to go back a little bit with your draft interviews. When you were drafted, did you have any good interviews with teams? I know not from me, from my experience, I didn't go to the draft. I was a late round pick, but did you have any interviews where some GMs were maybe a little harsh? Maybe they give you a hard time. I just know from guys I play with, I've heard some brutal stories. Brutal. So do you have any good ones from just different GMs?
Yeah, I had one that still sticks with me, actually. It kind of really pisses me off. I just found it so unique. It was with Eric Cairns. I think it was the Islanders. I guess he was part of their group there. And he was like, oh, you had, I don't know, whatever the number was, X amount of penalty minutes, but you never fought. Like, why don't you fight? And like, you're 18. Like, you're not trying to be cocky, but you're also want to stand up for yourself. Or like, oh, well, I mean, did you see my points? Like, I wasn't supposed to fight. My job wasn't fighting. It was putting up points, being a first power play specialist, outletting the puck, scoring goals. Like, yeah, I had a physical side to my game, which people didn't really, I guess, know. And yeah, sometimes I'd get frustrated. I'd take it too far, and it would take some penalties. And that's also part of maturing. You're an 18-year-old kid. You're still learning the game on that aspect. And he kept challenging me, like, well, why didn't you fight? Are you scared to fight? I was like, no, it's my D partner at the time was 6'5", and if anything happened, he would take care of it. And that's just how it worked, especially in junior. We're like, hey, we took this guy second overall. We have John Tavares on the team. We're going to have people who are going to protect them, because it's still a different game back then. And they kept coming at me, and I still never really stood up for myself. I was trying to be respectful about it, but looking back, I almost kind of want to tell him to fuck himself. Like, hey, we play different styles of game. It's not be like me going to you, hey, why didn't you score last year? Right? Like, people have different skill sets, and you're challenging someone for their weaknesses. Not everyone's going to be a complete player, can do absolutely everything perfect.
Yeah.
So that was one that stood out to me, and I found it so odd.
DZ, you're like, buddy, have you seen how hot I am? You want me to fight? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, get out of my face, buddy.
Jesus Christ, dude. I'm going to New York City. I'm not going to bust this up. Come on.
Seriously.
DZ, do you remember any of your celebrations that night? Because like that is all, so I love hearing you talk about New York. I played at Andover with Kreider, and I remember we were all buzzing for him when he was up there in Montreal getting drafted, get scooped by the Rangers, and we were like, holy shit. And it's just like those cool moments, like this is what you worked for, right? And I'm curious, like what was the vibe? Like you're up in Ottawa, you get scooped by the Rangers. Did you go nuts?
Nothing crazy, unfortunately. I wish I had a better story. Just kind of partied that night with my family. I wasn't kind of a late bloomer when it came to the partying side and drinking. Definitely probably some more fun stories of my time in New York, but being drafted, not so much. I just hung out with my family, my brother, some friends, and nothing to write home about, nothing eventful. It was definitely riding the high, but no crazy stories.
Well, it sounds like you made up for it later in life, though. That's good.
Yeah.
We tried our best.
Once we got the first Avery call, changed everything. Yeah.
Oh God, it's so true.
Okay, so DZ, I have a cool quote for you that I found, and this is kind of goes into what you were saying earlier. I think we were recording already, but it's like you're a huge point guy coming in, and then people get tape on you. It's the hardest league in the world. Things change, and as an offensive, certainly at first as an offensive-minded defenseman, if the points start to dry up, it can get frustrating, right? So I think this quote it was when you got to Philly, but I just loved it. They were asking about reporters were asking about if you got stronger that summer or something and how you've grown. And you said physically, yes, mentally, I think even more so. I think that's the most important part. This game is such a mental game. It's pretty easy to lose your confidence. It's a confidence game. Every player is a great player. Sometimes it's a matter of confidence and keeping that consistency. And I know that Torts was a part of that too in those early Rangers years for you, of kind of like changing that side of your game as well. But can you just talk to us a little bit about what it's like to be, a 0.1% hockey player on earth? And then you got Torts being like, you got to block shots, man. And you're kind of losing, like you spent your whole life being like, I'm the best, I'm sick. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, what's going on here? Can you tell us about that?
So the quote, I love the quote. And to add on to that, and then I'll get back to your question, to add on to that is like, there's so many good players in the league. The best players have their confidence the longest, right? So the thing is, if you don't have your confidence, how quickly can you get it back? And when you do have it, how long can you hold on to it, right? Because it's a tough game. There's a lot of good players. You lose your confidence, it's hard to get back because there's good players that you can get exposed against on a nightly basis. For me, I had Torts that was teaching me how to block shots. I was never interested in getting anywhere close to a shot. And with him, like, no, it's Manny, you block shots. Like, I don't care who you are. And I saw it firsthand my first year. Marian Gaborik was a 40 goal scorer at a time where there weren't very many 40 goal scorers. And almost every single day in video, he would show Gabby doing like a drive-by, like going out to the point, and he wouldn't even be anywhere close, hoping someone else would block it and spring him on a breakaway. And he'd rewind the clip. He'd play it again. He would rewind it, and he would belittle him. Like, this is top 5 player in the NHL, and this is how he treats him. But he wanted it consistent throughout the whole team. He's like, I don't care if you score 40 goals, if you score 2 goals, if you're making $10 million, if you're making minimum wage, this is how we all play. So in a way, it was great for me to see. It's like, hey, he wasn't picking on me. Like, if he's treating our best player that way, then it trickles down after that. So it was definitely an adjustment. And it took a while. We had our battles. We had our fuck you matches. And to Tomer's point before, it's like, careful what you wish for. He was there 4 years, and he'll be the first to say it. He doesn't last longer than 4 or 5 years. His voice gets a little bit old. He's my favorite coach who I ever played for. But then Vigneault comes in, and we didn't see eye to eye right away. And next thing you know, I'm kind of in and out of the lineup. I asked for a trade, and I'm gone. So I almost wish I had Torts for another year. I think at that point was right where I was starting to really understand what it took to be a professional every single day and how to round my game. Then I ended up going to Philly the year after, and that's kind of when I had, I would argue some of my best years, or at least my most complete years. I'm playing shutdown minutes, I'm playing first PK, I'm getting second power play, I'm playing 25 minutes a night, and I'm able to contribute in different aspects of the game. If I'm not contributing offensively, there's other areas that I'm helping the team win. So looking back, I think that's one thing I probably wish upon, that maybe I had Torts one more year. And who knows, maybe I'd still be in New York and would have never left.
I think the fuck you matches with Torts is like the baptism of every player that plays for him. Yeah. It's like, if you're not getting in a motherfuck match with him, then you're just like never going to hit it off. And it's curious that you bring up Philly. What do you think it is about Torts that's allowed him to stay in the league so long and be successful for so long? We see a lot of these, older coaches with sort of that old school mindset, that kind of fuck you mindset, who aren't really existing anymore in the league. And what do you think it is about Torts that makes him just like keep having success? I mean, like the Flyers started off so hot this past season and no one expected that.
Just getting everyone to buy in. His training camps, as much as they punish you and you can't stand them, but you're bringing the group together. Like those are absolutely fucking brutal. Absolutely fucking brutal. Coming out of that COVID year, I didn't have a deal. Teams weren't signing veteran guys. I remember I call up Torts. I'm like, bring me in on a PTO. Like, just bring me in. It's like, cost you guys nothing. If it goes well, maybe we agree to a contract. If it doesn't, you send me home and that's it. And I remember the first day of that training camp, I'm in my head, I'm like, what the fuck were you thinking calling this guy asking for a deal? Like, this is the dumb. And I was like, right then I could have retired. It was fucking brutal. Because when you're younger, you can kind of like, you have more energy. You're typically, you can skate a little bit better. You don't have the mental side of it, but the physical side, it's a bit easier. It was fucking brutal. So I think for him, he brings the team closer together. He brought back that old school mentality, and especially in Philly, in a city like that, they love it, right? The fans were feeding for a guy like that, just craving to have someone like him to bring that fuck you back to that organization. And I think he did such an amazing job. And I'm still to this day a little bit heartbroken that they didn't make the playoffs. So I think they deserved it. And going on that stretch at the end, like I would have loved to see them in the first round and just see them go toe to toe with the Rangers. He would have had those guys fired up, and it would have been a brutal first series. A lot more exciting than the Capitals playing against them. But he has that team bought in, and he's changed too. He's not the coach he was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. He's adapted with the times. He understands the kids are built a little bit differently these days. But my favorite thing is seeing a breakdown or someone making a stupid mistake, and then the video pans him on the bench. And the old him wants to snap so bad, and he's just like trying to keep himself calm, and you could see the words kind of going in his head, ready to snap. And he's come a long way, and I'm really happy for him. He was not for me as just a player, but as a human being, he taught me a lot.
DZ, he's also
you can see
can we talk about the business casual he's got going on too, with the zip ups, all the merch. They got the quarter zips going now.
Yeah, the quarter zip. He doesn't even golf, and he wears a quarter zip every day. Yeah.
That's great.
It's cold in those rinks, man. Dude, I was actually that was gonna be my question to you, DZ, if you felt he had changed, because I feel like when he was kind of in the booth, you were always hearing that shit, like he hates the fucking Zegras Michigans and everything. And I was like, I don't know if because I was among the people that I couldn't believe the hire by Philly, when I was like, because I know he's a good enough coach that if you were trying to bottom out and it felt like maybe they were, I was like, don't get Torts to get you out of that top 3 lottery pick. But seeing what he did last year, I'm so with you on the buy-in, and I love to hear that you're saying maybe he has softened a bit in his old age.
He has. There's definitely a little bit more room to go, but I don't think we'll ever get there. We'll meet in the middle.
Yeah, which we'll take that.
Dude, DZ, going off of all the mindset stuff that you were, just talking about, I feel like your work ethic is something that comes up constantly whenever people talk about you and your game and your entire career. Everyone that we've ever talked to or had on that's played with you, that always comes up. And I was curious to bring up that, again, even though it sucks for me, that 2019 Blues run when you guys win the Cup. That Blues team was stacked with defensemen, and they got lucky, with a lot of health. So the postseason run, you didn't really get minutes. But what a cool story that those boys looked at you as such a great example on the team, and your work ethic and your attitude, that your name got on the Cup no matter what, regardless of that situation. What was that experience like? And that compliment that you got from your peers, your teammates, your coworkers, how did that feel? And what was that whole season like for you?
Yeah, that was special because that was a brutal year. I started in Vancouver the year before. I played 82 games, the first time in
Yep.
my career. And then we're going to the next year, and all of a sudden, like, yeah, we're going young. I'm like, when are we going young? I played 82 games last year. Like, I mentored the kids. I did everything you guys asked of me, and now all of a sudden, you're just like kicked to the curb. So back to that loyalty thing we talk about. So I'm in and out of the lineup. Asked for a trade. I'm waiting. I finally get traded to Anaheim. The day after I get traded to Anaheim, my grandpa passes away. So I'm in Vancouver. I fly back to Toronto for the funeral. I get there for the funeral. I'm there same day. I don't even stay over. Fly back to Vancouver. Now I pack up my shit, move to Anaheim. I'm in Anaheim for, I don't know, I think it's like 12 games. I'm partnered with Cam Fowler there, and we just have instant chemistry. Probably one of my, even though only 12 games, probably my favorite partner I played. We saw the game the same way. The game came easy. We didn't even really have to talk. We knew where each other were. And it was a ton of fun. I'm like, okay, here we go. Like, we can salvage the second half of the year, and hopefully, it was a contract year for Mike. Hopefully make something out of it. We lose back-to-back divisional games right before the deadline, puts us like 10 points out of a spot. Sure enough, like, I don't know, trade deadline's like 12 o'clock or 12:30, and like 30 minutes after, I get a call, I'm going to St. Louis. So, like, not really a team I kind of had on the radar or thought would come of it, but Chief was a coach who I had in Philly. Alex Pietrangelo, the captain, is one of my best childhood friends. Braden Shen was there who I played in Philly. So I'd assume Doug Armstrong probably asked them, a few of those guys, about my character and who I am as a person. I went in there, and that's when they kind of took off. And to your point, there was no one really got hurt. So I was like the next man up, and no one really got hurt. So fortunately or unfortunately, obviously it worked out and they won a cup, but I never got the opportunity to play. But it was probably 3 months during that whole playoff run in the last part of the season I didn't play. And I was still first guy at the rink every single day. I worked my fucking ass off in the gym. It's probably like the biggest I ever was. Like, I was lifting like an animal. It's just, you lift every single day. You're not saving it for on ice. So you're as a fucking absolute animal. First guy on the ice every single day, just working. I wanted to show my teammates, hey, even though this guy's been out 2 months, 2.5 months, God forbid there's an injury, he's going to come in and do the job for us. So I wanted to make sure that they felt comfortable with me slotting in the lineup if I was given that opportunity. It never happened. And there was definitely some dark days. I got to be honest with you. There were some tough days where it made it very hard coming to the rink. And at the end, it was, very emotional to know that they stood up for me, Petro specifically, to get my name on the cup, even though I didn't, meet the requirements. And it was, obviously something I'm going to live with the rest of my life, and be able to show my grandkids someday.
Absolutely, dude. Do you think, what would you say, what's a lesson that you would try to pass on? Because that mindset is so difficult. I mean, like, I can't stress that enough. Like, when you are, battling with these guys every day, showing up to the rink, like you just said, practicing, lifting, working your ass off, how did you stay locked in? Because it's so easy in those circumstances to just be like, well, I'm not playing, so fuck it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to let my teammates down. I saw the work that they were putting in, and as Tom knows, like, playoffs is like a completely different animal, man. It's a grind. So I didn't want to let them down. On top of it, it was a very tough year for me, but I knew there was light at the end of the tunnel, and there was no one that was going to get me out of that. It was, you can only really rely upon yourself. So I just kept working and was essentially waiting for an opportunity that I never got. But I guess the opportunity essentially was me getting my name on the cup, and something that I'll live with for the rest of my life. And I just, when times are tough, you never want to see people go through tough times, but I truly believe that it reveals people's true character. And that's when you really get to know what someone's about, right? It's like when you're winning and life is great, like, everyone's happy and enjoying themselves. But when you're when you're down and you're kicked again while you're down, it reveals people's character. And those are the moments that you remember and really cherish, because when you get out of that, you're like, you know what, hey, that's where I was before, and look where I am now. And it, it's a huge confidence builder.
Yeah, DZ, I love that. I love that you touched on that too, even when, and it's a huge testament to you, and I didn't even know that whole story. That's fucking incredible, just the fact that, I mean, it just shows how good a teammate you were, or are, first off, to be able to do that. Because I don't think people understand, or fans realize, like, oh yeah, he got his name on the cup, what is he, how hard could it have been? Well, I don't think people understand, like, what he was doing every day was basically going to the rink, bag skating, working out. You're basically in a training camp, and you're isolated from the team a little bit because they're in the playoffs. People don't understand it either.
Yeah.
But the guys are in the playoffs. Like you don't mess with the guys really. You kind of stay away from it. You're staying on the outside. So like you said, the dark alone days. Like I mean, the fact that you touched on that is huge, and for people with mental health or whatever it is, like the fact that you said that during that time, and then you come out on the other side and say, well, then the boys are like, well, his name's going on the cup. I just find that amazing, and the fact that you just same thing, and it shows all those other guys, those young guys, to see you doing that every day. The guys that are even playing, they're like, fuck, look at DZ right now. Look how hard he's working out. He's not even playing. So the fact that it's just awesome for people to hear that, because I don't think people understand that how isolated guys are from the team during the playoffs that aren't playing. Like they're not around. Like you are completely separated.
Yeah, because you're playing every other day. You're not skating. So guys are basically just showing up for games, right? Yeah. Or maybe there's a little morning skate. But when the guys were in for pregame meetings and going on about, whatever may be going on that night, adjustments or whatnot, like I'm on the ice by myself. Like no coaches out there with you because all the coaches are in there too. So I'm literally out there by myself, running myself through different drills and working on some parts of the game solo. Like you have no one there to push you or help you out. It's you and your mind, and it could get, as I mentioned before, it could get dark. Like there's some dark thoughts going between your ears, and I look back on it, and that's probably one of my most proud moments. And there's a few other in my career, but that one specifically because there was some, I would say majority of the days were very tough, and coming out of that, I don't always pat myself on the back, but for this one, I will, because it was tough.
Fucking right, you should pat your back on the back for that one. That's
seriously. I was gonna say I'll pat you on the back as well, buddy.
That's incredible. And better question I'll ask it is, how good did whatever you drank out of the cup taste after all of that?
Come on.
It was nice. Yeah. It was nice. It was nice to not be having protein shakes and actually have a real cocktail out of there. Yeah. It was well worth it. It was well worth it.
Awesome. That's great.
DZ, could you tell that was a unique room right away? Because you got there at the deadline, right? But they were like in dead last at whatever the fuck, January or something, and then they get there, and certainly the Dogs in many of those series. Did it feel different, or does every team kind of have that belief?
Yeah, I mean, every team's close. There's not really bad guys in hockey. There's very, very few. I could say there's probably 2 or 3 I've played with that I'm like, you're not going to get along well with everyone. Like they're your best friends. You have different hobbies, interests, or whatnot, but to truly dislike someone, it's very rare in hockey. But that team it was a special room. And I think any team that wins, they'll always say that, right? It's like the belief you have in each other, how close you are, you would do anything for each other. And that room definitely had it.
Stammer is a bad guy, though. We can confirm that. That's why they just threw it.
Not a glue guy.
Not a glue guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No.
Exactly.
Expendable guy. Expendable.
On to the next.
Yeah.
To get away from some hockey quick, DZ, I wanted to ask you, because I know that charity has been such a huge part of your gig. And when you got to New York, it was that really awesome story where you saw the young boy watching practice, your 19-year-old kid, and you go bring him a signed puck. And you guys are still really close, but that kind of got you into it's called Garden of Dreams, I think,
Correct.
Right, in New York. And then Ronald McDonald House in your time in Vancouver, and you're volunteering at the Daily Food Bank in Toronto during COVID, and I've seen you give a bunch of quotes about how important mentorship is to you as well. So can you just tell us about how that stuff fulfills you and what that's all meant to you?
Yeah. So the Liam Trainer thing, how that kind of came about in New York is we finished practice and he was watching. I went over, gave him a signed stick and a puck, and I don't know, didn't really think much of it. You take 10 seconds out of your day and you don't really know what may happen from that, right? And usually you go up and you give someone a pound or say, hey, how are you? And now here we are 15 years later, and we talk probably still weekly. I'd say maybe even more than that. Now he's in his 20s and he's trying to get a job in the hockey world, and he's using me as a sounding board to bounce ideas off of and figure out how he can kind of navigate the space. And along with the hard times of winning the Stanley Cup and going through that process, I think that's, what I'm most proud of, and maybe some of my work and during my playing career is the relationships I made away from the game, and strictly the charity. Liam being one, another young girl named Taylor, from Garden of Dreams as well, who I actually saw her for the first time. I have this great picture. I don't know if I posted on my Instagram or not. I have this great picture of her skating for the first time, my 19-year-old year. And then I saw her again during playoffs this past run. And we hadn't seen each other since. We've always kept in touch. And seeing her now become a woman it was very emotional and very touching. And seeing how great she is and living her life to the fullest was amazing. My time in Vancouver, I went to the Ronald McDonald House, hit it off with the kids. They have a beautiful home there. Was playing hide and seek, going on the slide and playing Wii with the kids. And then before I left, the manager of the house just came up and gave me my own visitor's pass and said, "Hey, you don't have to go through the team. Anytime you want to come, you're always welcome." And that was very touching to me, knowing that they keep it very, strict there, that they felt comfortable with me coming in at any time. So I'd go in there once a week. You build a relationship, not just with the kids, but also the families as well. And I think that was a huge learning experience for me. It's not just the kid who's going through, the very tough time of chemo and treatments, but often their siblings are neglected from love too, right? Because there's so much effort and attention towards a kid who's going through their treatments, and even the parents too, right? They're giving out all their love and all their attention toward their kids. No one's ever asking how they're doing. So it was such a learning experience for me on caring, loving, giving as a human being. So I'm very thankful during my playing career to get those opportunities to become a better individual from those experiences.
That's amazing, man. I love when I was reading about all that stuff. I just think it's so important. And I know you're a guy too, tangentially, right, that takes great care of your body. Health and fitness is a huge thing. And I feel like we, not just pro athletes, but all of us take that stuff for granted, so the fact that you have the platform you have and are able to reach out and help people like that, I think was just fantastic.
Sorry, you cut out there I lost you on the last bit.
No,
yeah, I lost you too there, CP. Just say that part again.
It was just that the all of us, not just pro athletes, take the health and fitness stuff in our own bodies for granted, and the fact that you have the platform you have and able to help reach out and help people like that, I thought was fantastic.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's something that I think that more than I miss playing the game. I definitely I'm happy. I'm happy I retired. It was definitely the right time. But truthfully, I think one of the things I miss the most is having that ability to be able to give back. And you kind of have that superhero feeling when, these people look at you like you're invincible, and being able to give back and provide hope and maybe positive memories for people that need it is something that, unfortunately, you don't get in the real world when you're not playing anymore. And I wish we still had that ability.
No doubt about it, man. No doubt about it. Squad, by now you know that we have teamed up with BetMGM to bring you the best sports betting content and also tell you about the best sports betting platform in the game. BetMGM has everything you could ever hope for. Hockey season's over. Are we depressed? Yes. But is BetMGM there for us also? Also, yes. BetMGM is bringing everything that you could want. The Euros right now, the unbelievable baseball that's going on right now. We have all of these different great things that we can bet on. Get in on the action. And if you use promo code NETTERS when you sign up for BetMGM, we've got the best deal going for you right now. You can bet up to $1,500 with BetMGM on anything you want. All of these games that we're talking about. And if you lose that $1,500, they give it back to you. Can you believe that? What are we talking about? You've got to sign up for BetMGM using that promo code NETTERS. Get in on all of this action and make sure you're having fun with all of this different sports stuff all year round, no questions asked. BetMGM is the best sports betting platform in the world. It's what we use. It's what you should use as well. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico, or visit www.1800gambler.net in West Virginia. First bet offer for new customers only, subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, North Carolina, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. I feel like a lot of this stuff, leads into the type of person you are, and I want to get into a game that we play with all of our guests here. I don't know if Tomer warned you about this, but this is a game that we call Pass, Shoot, Score. It's basically Marry, Fuck, Kill. I'm going to give you a few things here, DZ, that I know are important to you, and basically it's a ranking system. So pass, even with the stretch pass that you are famous for, pass is going to be third because we like shooting the puck a little bit more. That's going to be second, and scoring the ultimate goal, that's going to be number one.
Okay.
So your first category here in Pass, Shoot, Score is going to be family time, things that you love doing with the fam. So Pass, Shoot, Score, eating fish at Christmas with the family, swimming with the cup in the pool, and then playing in the backyard rink with Grandpa Lino using a shovel as a stick.
Oh, God. You guys did your research on that. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. Fuck, I got goosebumps right now. Pass will be, yeah, seriously. Pass will be the fish at Christmas time, although Christmas is very special for our family.
But hey, DZ, you guys were a one gift on Christmas Eve, though, eh?
Dude, we had so many gifts. So many gifts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I can't get on board with the gift on Christmas Eve, dude. Hold it in. You gotta wait.
Dude, I'm so good at receiving gifts. That's the problem. Like, I just love receiving gifts. Like, I have to open it for you Christmas Eve. Like, it's one of my biggest talents. So pass for fish. It's going to sound crazy, but it truly, shoot would be swimming with the cup, and score would be backyard with my nonolino. Yeah, he made that rink. So my grandparents live with us. My dad's parents live with us growing up, and he made that rink. So in the summertime was a bocce court. We're Italian, and he'd have whatever, let's say like 10-inch boards up, so you're able to pass the puck off of. And he made the rink every single year. And as kids, he would go in net with just a shovel, and we would rip pucks like off his shin and never once complained. This guy was a fucking animal. So he was like, he was my hero growing up. The stuff that this guy did in our backyard, we had 2 acres of land, and he cut down trees, would shave them down, and made soccer nets out of them. This guy was, he was so clever, so creative, did everything around the house, and he was my hero. So that's how I would rank those. Yeah.
I think that's a perfect ranking, and what a legend. I have a few Christmas follow-ups for you because CP and I both, huge Christmas guys. Yeah. Number one, is fish at Christmas an Italian thing?
Correct, yeah. Bacala specifically.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. And then were you guys rocking Italian anise cookies as well, or what?
The dessert spread is insane, especially growing up when we like the whole family would get together because we'd have competitions who can make the best dessert. So it was a disgusting amount of dessert. And my family, both sides being Italian too, not my mom's side's Italian as well, and her sister, so my aunt and uncle lived next door with my other grandparents. So the food was, we didn't lack on carbs and sweets. I was a chubby kid. Yeah. I definitely didn't have the body I have now. I told myself I'd never get back to that. Yeah, we ate like kings growing up.
Well, that's all you had to say.
That's amazing.
Interview back when you just tell them like, listen, Karen G, I'm Italian. That's why I have the power. Like, come on, that's what it is. That's where the mystery comes from. There it is, right there.
So real. And then lastly, DZ, Home Alone 2: Lost in New York being your favorite Christmas movie is absolutely insane.
Insane?
Yeah, dude, it's good, but your favorite one?
Oh, yeah, there's not even a close second. What do you mean? It's like,
oh my God.
I'm not sure I can name another Christmas. I'm not sure I can even name another Christmas movie.
I mean,
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far.
It's his favorite movie, period.
I do like that pick, though. I like that pick. Home Alone 2 is good.
I like it. It's up there, but I just like being your favorite. That's a wild card pick. Maybe I got to watch it again. I don't know. I'm not giving the pigeon lady enough respect.
You don't watch it every year? That might be the craziest comment I've ever heard.
I do. I swear to God, I do. Okay. I actually have a list. This is not a joke. I'll send it to you after this. I have a list of 55 movies that I like. It's movies and TV episodes that I start watching on November 1st because I'm Christmas immediately after Halloween.
Interesting. So American Thanksgiving is just not a thing.
It's a thing, but like, I'm like, you can't beat the Christmas spirit. And my whole thing is 25 days is not enough time to celebrate Christmas. Like if you start celebrating on December 1st, it's gone like that. Like I need all the music. I need all the movies. I need more.
Okay.
So I go all
favorite Christmas song.
Favorite Christmas song has to be Little Drummer Boy by Bob Seger. That version specifically, I think, absolutely slaps. But if we're just talking like overall Christmas song, I'd probably say Wonderful Christmas Time, Paul McCartney. Fact. So good. So good.
See, to me, similar to Home Alone, it's like Mariah Carey. Like, there's not even a close second.
I will never have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Like there's some people who say it's overplayed, but like,
no.
Pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It's all good. That's all good. Yeah.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay,
For sure.
DZ. Yeah. Here's your next category, DZ. We're going into next category is food cravings. Okay, so pass, shoot, score. When you're on your cheat day and you treat yourself to your favorite sour candy. Next one is your high protein, zero sugar carrot cake. And the next one is your famous Parmesan ribs.
Dude, you guys, the research. Oh my God. You guys are incredible. Okay. So as much as I do, the ribs are definitely my specialty. I enjoy them. Actually, I haven't had them in forever. But the boys love them more. Like the Shen brothers love them the most. Like when I play with them in Philly and I have the guys over for dinner, they always requested the ribs. Like they were huge ribs guys. Those guys could eat too. They could put them back. The ribs would be pass. Shoot would be I love carrot cake. That's the only thing I actually asked for my birthday last week. And then score is sour candy. Like I'm a huge sour candy guy. Like I don't think anything will ever top that.
Dude, same. What's your go-to?
Well, it depends where I am. Undercover. I was in Oslo in May, and the candy hits different over there. Like the Swedish candy.
Dude,
they have a place in Vancouver. That's incredible. But if I had to name like one here in the U.S., would be like the mini sour keys.
Oh,
very good.
Great answer.
Oh,
Hey, Jarvis, huge sour candy guy too.
That's true. I'm also so pumped that you just pulled out the Scandinavian candy. Like the Scandinavian sour candy is so different. Like those black licorice ones that are sour as shit, they're like salty too.
Yeah.
They go hard.
Yeah.
They go hard. This guy knows his sour candy, man. Let me tell you what.
They don't get enough appreciation, unfortunately.
It's true. Okay, here's your last one, DZ. This one's life-changing moments.
Ooh, okay.
Pass, shoot, score. DJing a private event at the Toronto Film Festival. Reading the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. Or the first transfusion you had with Getzlaff while golfing at Big Canyon.
Wow. So reading will be pass. The transfusion with the transfusion with Getsy will be shoot. That was actually a unique one because that's right when COVID hit. We're like, oh, this COVID thing's a joke. We're like, okay, the game got canceled. We're like, fuck it, let's go golf. And it's 7 a.m. We're having a transfusion. I never had one before. I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. Not a bad life.
Pretty good.
Living in Newport Beach, like not a bad life. And then the score would be the DJing. That was, I don't DJ as much as I once did, and for numerous reasons. So that was when the World Cup was going on, whatever, the start of the season. So we didn't start till a little bit later. So the film festival was happening. I got invited to DJ, and I played the kind of gap hour. So basically, the last hour of dinner into the first hour of the club. I played. I had a couple of my buddies there. Killed it. Like did very well. Finished. I'm done. It was like my first real like proper gig. And afterwards, I'm just like pounding the tequila. I'm like celebrating, having a great time. Like, here we go. Like, you did a great job. Who knows what will come of this? And then the owner of the event comes to me because the DJ who played after me, they brought this guy in from Saint Tropez, and just a very different style of music. He's fantastic, way better. I couldn't even tie his shoes, but just a very different style of music than Toronto. And the owner comes to me, he's like, "Hey, do you mind going back on? Like, they're not feeling his music." I was like, "Fuck!" Like, I'm like cross-eyed at this point. I'm like, all right, sure. And I played another 4 hours. So I played a 6-hour set, dude. And I couldn't sleep that night. It was like after scoring a Game 7 winning goal. Like I was so high. I was riding the high. I was like, it was incredible. And music is so powerful because it's an international language. No matter where you are, where you're from, what language you speak, music has the ability to put a smile on your face and make you dance, right? You forget about all the bullshit, anything else going on, and it can be so powerful. So I'm not a country music fan. I just think it's depressing. You talk about your dog dying or drinking whiskey or a breakup like that doesn't do it for me. I want music that's going to put me in a good mood. So I'm mostly like a late 90s, early 2000s hip hop and some version of house. And that night was absolutely incredible for me. That was, one of my favorite nights, ever, really.
Dude, do you feel like you were just in the zone when you were in that 4-hour extra?
Yeah. After that much tequila too, it's just like, you just feel like you were the music. Like I felt like I was in the table. It's like, I was just like vibing to every song. Like, it was, it's like, it was fantastic. It was, I wish I could replay that.
You just
ride
that
awesome.
wave.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. He's just hitting flow states, just seeing numbers like Neo in the Matrix, and he's just fucking ripping.
I'm impressed though with your guys' research. Very impressive, because those are some stories that a lot of people don't know about. So well done, well done.
Those are the best ones.
These guys are good. They know. They do their homework. Yeah, they know.
Yeah, I love it.
Easy. How'd you meet Tiesto?
He's a hockey fan. He came to a bunch of games in New York when I played for the Rangers. Met him after a game, just kind of kept in touch, and I've seen him play all over the world. So anytime he was in New York and we were in town, I'd see him. One of the biggest ones was at Tao, when Tao had just opened the downtown one, at least.
Sick.
And he played Halloween. He played Halloween night. We went for that, which was
awesome, dude. Yeah. Are you kidding me?
That must have been so sick.
Yeah, I've seen him numerous times in Vegas, Miami, Ibiza. Yeah, I've seen him all over. He's incredible.
Yep.
Yeah, we
saw him at the at Wet Republic in Vegas the other day for this weekend. So I should have told him we were hanging out.
Yeah.
Just the other day.
Chris, don't lie. You didn't see shit, dude.
No, I am told he was there. I couldn't see anything. Oh my God, that's incredible. Okay, well, before we let you guys go, we have some big news here on the Empty Netter Show. We've got a very cool golf tournament in the works that this whole crew, along with many others, are going to be involved with. So, Tomer, can you give us the overview first? You take it away.
Yeah, so there's a golf tournament coming up August 21st to the 24th through the Pro Athlete Golf Tour. It's going to be at Half Moon Bay, Ritz-Carlton Golf Links. It's got 2 golf courses. It's going to be a 3 or 4 day event. It's going to include current and former players, to name a few. We got one here on the call. Michael Del Zotto, Grant Fuhr, Eddie Lack, just to name a few. We've got about 10 guys coming already. And the biggest thing I want to stress, and I've told guys, it's going to be fun. Like, it's going to be a tournament. It's going to be a chance for guys to win some money, to see who the best golfer is that's a hockey player, current or former. But the thing I want to stress to guys is that it's going to be handicapped too. So if you have a handicap, if you have a 15 handicap, who gives a shit? Like, we want guys to come play, because at the end of the day, I mean, it's always fun to golf with guys that are good, and everyone, can win some money off those guys, whatever it may be. But I think that having guys if at least it's a golf trip with the boys and you're having fun, because
Yeah.
I mean, you want to see guys. I mean, when you watch the thing, like I always think of TNT when Tom Brady's just he's spraying his drives off the tee box,
Ripping his
like
pants, dude.
Yeah, his pants, his hammers falling off. Like to me, like that's more fun. Sitting there, like, all right, we're serious, like, and it's going to be fun. Guys are going to be serious, I'm sure. There's going to be a lot of chirping. There's going to be guys going at it. But at the end of the day, that's the best, is when you see a guy shank one. I mean, that's me most of the time. So,
Yep.
in summary, it's going to be a fun tournament. Hopefully we get about 20 guys, maybe more. And guys come, play some golf. They can bring their wives. They can bring their girlfriends, buddies, the caddy. I mean, really, you're playing golf during the day, and then you have the rest of the day to kind of do whatever for a few days. So it's going to be a good time. In summary, I think hopefully it's just a great time for everyone, and for current and former players. For former players, I know myself and DZ, I mean, it's a way for guys to come and be relevant again, or maybe they can, get back with the boys. I mean, I know for me, those are things you miss when you play, is being around the fellas. So I think if anything, like I said, it'll be just a fun golf trip for the boys.
Yeah, I think it's unique. And what's cool too is, you combine the former and current players, but being able to catch up with the guys, and even some of the guys that are done playing, is just seeing what different guys are doing now, right? Like, guys are back in the real world now. They're not playing. What type of business ventures are they doing? What are they excited about? Where are they at? Where are they living? Because when you play with guys, you're in one city, but typically you guys are going home or different places that they've played, that they've loved and raised a family. So being able to catch up with the guys and see what may be going on is what I'm most excited for. And, being 34 and single, there's not many. Most of my guys are married, have kids, girlfriends. It's hard to get a boys trip. So this will be nice just to golf with the fellas, shoot the shit, feel like you're in the locker room, and banter back and forth. So it's something that's been circled on my schedule for a while. And hopefully this continues to grow and becomes a massive event that guys are looking forward to every year.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, absolutely, boys.
So, I mean, I think everyone loves golf, and to be able to do it with our fraternity, right? It's our kind of fraternity. We're all part of the hockey world, and for all of us to get together and do this. And like, I would have played, I was going to play in it, and I'm not very good. And that's why I was going to say anybody should play. Is I have to go to a wedding at the same time. Teddy Purcell's wedding at the same time. He's getting married during his golf tournament.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So selfish. Could pick another weekend.
I know.
What an idiot.
The same thing.
What an idiot.
So yeah, but it's gonna be so much fun. I can't wait for this event. I think it's gonna be awesome.
You guys go for it, Chris.
I was going to say, I'm calling Jim Montgomery to see if I can get a PTO with the Bees before the tournament, and then backdoor my way into playing, because it sounds that cool. I got to get involved somehow.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
No, you guys said it best, man. I mean, it's such a cool idea. It's such a cool event. Tom, you getting us involved has been so fun, because, we're just going to blow this whole thing out. Tons of the guys are psyched, going to join in. And you said it best. It is just a golf weekend with the boys. And, we're going to have tons of our sponsors there. We're going to have our beer there. It's going to be a whole event, just an absolute blast. And I am going to be a bit selfish and say this. It is over my birthday. So my birthday is the 23rd. So this is also about me. This is a cool event, but it's also a lot about
the 23rd. The 23rd is all about you. It's all about you.
Yeah, exactly. That day is mine.
We'll see if we can get some Scandinavian candy shipped in for that day. We'll see what we can do. Yeah.
As long as I get some carrot cake on my birthday, then I'm happy.
I got you. It's a simple thing. So.
And I got to mention, has been done with the MLB before. We did the Pro Athlete Golf Tour did this back in November, December. And I think it was about a little over 20 MLB guys did this, current and former, same thing, and they loved it. And they said from what they were saying, same thing we were saying. They said, if anything, I know there was one guy on the golf thing. I think he was like a 14 handicap. He didn't even care. He just wanted to be there and just golf with the fellas. So if anything, like I said, come just golf with the fellas. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So
DZ said it perfectly. It's tough to get these trips on the books,
really
and
is.
this is an easy excuse, especially as it keeps growing. How's the game, DZ, right now? What's really working in the bag?
The putter in the short game. Believe it or not, so I moved to Miami when I retired, and I thought my game was going to just take off and be incredible. And I actually haven't played as much as I would have liked living here. I played more this summer. I'm spending a lot of time up in New York in the Hamptons. So I got an epic week coming up next week. Actually, I'm playing Sabonic I'm just looking at my calendar. I'm playing Sabonic on the 9th. Then I got Shinnecock on the 10th. So number 4 rated course. And then the following week I got Pine Valley. So it's a nice stretch of golf. So it'll be a good test for the game. Yeah, I imagine I'm gonna get beat up, but it'll be worth it.
We might have our future champion from the golf tournament right here on the pod right now. We're getting ready for the tournament with all those courses beforehand.
My dark horse is getting Pavelski involved. He's gonna mop the floor with everybody.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
That'll be good.
Dan just wants to get Pav so he can bet on him and try to win some money off of it. That's his agenda. But hey, listen, this is going to be an incredible event. We're so excited about it. We're so excited to see all the boys here. And like Tom was saying, the guests are going to start pouring in as now we're going to go public with it and put the press on. But we're looking forward to it so much. Half Moon Bay, like Tomer said, end of August, DP's birthday. Hell of a trip. Super excited about it. Any other big talking points on it, Tom? Or
I think you visit the proathletegolftour.com. There's register there. I mean, we're gonna pump out content, obviously, but if anything, like I said, I know I keep talking about it, but it's just gonna be a fun tournament. And come. I think everyone says, come put your money where your mouth is and see who the best golfer is, with a handicap or without a handicap. It doesn't matter. You can still win some money and have some fun at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And DZ, this has been unreal, dude. Thank you for hopping on. Tomer, obviously, always great to have you. Is there anything you want to shout out before we let you go?
Nothing. I appreciate you guys doing the research. That was fun. It's very rare you get an opportunity to talk about some new things, and definitely some touching moments from my career that people may not know about. I'm being a professional athlete. Not many things are kept private anymore, and there's a few things I do like to keep. I guess close to the vest. But I mean, there's some moments that I guess would maybe reveal who I am as a person that people may not know about, or, people like to assume things on what they read or what they hear. So I appreciate you guys doing the research, and, it was enjoyable talking about some of that.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, my man. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
Just I know for myself, for people that may want, what are you doing now post hockey? What are some things that you're doing now? After hockey, life after hockey, because I understand.
Yeah, I got a few things going on. So I have my real estate license here in Florida. I actually got it while I was playing in Ottawa. We quarantined so many times. I felt like it was a good opportunity to do something productive with my time and advance myself as a human being and prepare for the next chapter, because I knew it was coming sooner than later. I'm doing some work with a luxury golf travel company. Their name's All Access. So we curate bucket list trips all over the world, Ireland, Scotland, Kiowa, you name it. And we do events as well. So Masters, Waste Management Open, US Open, Ryder Cup. So that's been a lot of fun. As I'm sure you guys know by now, I'm a golf addict. So any chance to go to these events or golf these courses has been awesome. So I have a few things in the golf space that I'm working on. I know Tom and I, we've been in talks about trying to make this pro athlete golf tour something even bigger. I think we have some great ideas. We'll worry about this first event and then hopefully have it take off and do something big. And we'll keep you boys posted, because we definitely want you involved. I think it could be a ton of fun and something that people will be itching to have more frequently.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
Absolutely, boys. No doubt about it. Well, we'll keep getting this thing bigger and bigger, and can't wait till we get there. But again, thanks both of you for coming on, and we'll just keep spreading the word about this awesome event. It's going to be a blast.
Of course. Can't wait.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you, boys.
Hell yeah, boys.